The noseband is tight that I can get one finger. That is like borderline too tight. The last horse, I loosened it. But when you loosen it, then when you pull, if you're riding English or you're doing the lateral work, you'll get bunching here. If it's a lot of people, when it's loose like that, they have an inclination to take it up. You want to tighten the noseband with just one finger in there. Yeah, right underneath there. I use bits most of my life, and I only happened on riding bitless by accident because I thought the bit stopped the horse, and because we grow up using them. But horses are such highly sensitive animals, they don't need that. He just needs a suggestion to steer and to stop. And I mean, there's a lot of training that goes into teaching a horse to give to that bit. I start colts and I started them with bits for years. You have to have soft hands, give the minute they give to that bridle. But so many horses have problems with it, and people start pulling on it, and then the horse gets really agitated. But I accidentally found out about riding bitless because a horse got loose, ran to my neighbor's. I went to grab my horse to catch it. It was an auction horse that was loose, and I was in a panic, so I ran in the barn. I couldn't find the bit, I couldn't find the bridle, so I just grabbed a halter and 2 lead ropes. So that was fine. I got on my horse. I was bareback, in my pajamas, no shoes, nothing. Because 6:30 in the morning, my husband was making friends with a new horse. And then I heard da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, oh my God. So I grabbed the halter, 2 lead ropes, went out the back to go catch the horse. And I leaned back, and I didn't mind halter and 2 lead ropes. I was right in the yard, I leaned back and I went to grab the horse that was dragging the lead rope, and I missed. So the horse took off to my neighbor's. Now I'm like, oh my God, I have a halter and 2 lead ropes. And I only had 2 years under saddle on my horse. He'd never been out alone. So I was afraid. I'm like, I'm not, when I was a kid, I rode with a halter and 2 lead ropes, and I thought I must have had a good pony or I wasn't afraid of dying. But now I'm like, I don't know. And the horse is long gone to my neighbor, so I'm telling her, Dixie, walk, hope. She stopped. All right, trot, hope. I did a few strides at the trot, and I kept checking it like 10 times, and I'm dumbfounded. I'm like, dang, she stopped, and I got no bit in her mouth. And so then I thought I could canter because it was almost a mile to my neighbor's. So I just did a few strides, hope. I didn't believe it. I couldn't wrap my head around it. And I had to do that about 6 times before I'm like, okay, even after like 10 strides, she's still stopping. So I went and got the horse to my neighbor's, and I forgot it was in my pajamas. They're a long flannel at least. And so I'm like, oh my God, I must look a sight. And she's like, yeah. So I ponied the horse home. Thank God we ponied. I mean, I had it in less than 2 weeks. I was able to canter with them both, ponying the horse, no bit, halter, lead ropes. So that day I said, I'm never putting a bit in her mouth again, because I thought that's what controlled the horse. And ever since then, I ride problem horses. I start colts. Every job I went out to for the next 4 years, I used a rope halter. And so many people, like, my horse is bucking, he's rearing, and I take the bit out and I put a rope halter and like, did you just hear me? And I'm like, did you hear you? He's bucking, rearing, bolting, and your bit is not working. I said, I'm going to punish him. I'm going to correct him if he tries to do that with the rope halter. I don't want him to flip over. So the bit to me is like, can be overkill. How are you doing, Christy? Any difference? He feels more relaxed. Again, this is a nice horse, obviously. Did I meet him? I might have seen him somewhere, but I've never ridden on him. He's a nice horse, but like I said, good horses are just going to say thank you, be a little more relaxed. Even though Christy's hands are soft and she never really had to touch that bit, just having it in there puts a little stress on a horse. You know, just the threat of if you're going to grab on that is a little stress for the horse. So obviously they can relax, they can breathe better. By having metal in the mouth, it turns on eating reflex. Just like if you have that sucker and you put it in your mouth, you're going to swallow, you're going to, you know, all those eating reflexes come on. When that happens, it closes off the breathing channel. Whether you like it or not, all mammals, the breathing channel and the eating channel are connected, and one has to take precedence over the other. So you can't do both effectively. And just by putting that bit in, it turns that on. So if show rules don't permit it, you can still school in this and then put the bit back in. And the horse, like that horse that I talked about, Dixie, that I became bitless with, my stepmother owns her. And my dad said, you know, I don't believe in this bitless stuff. What if I put, I don't want to ride bitless, he said, you know, what if I put a bit back in her mouth? Is she going to hate it? Because she's been bitless for 2 years. And 2 years. And I said, let's see. And I put the bit back in. She was fine. She never objected to the bit. She was like this one. Never had a problem with it. But even horses that have trouble with the bit and you reschool this, if they don't have something serious going on in their mouth, you can go back and forth, school at home. I rework a lot of dressage horses that have issues, their brakes aren't that good, or spooky at the corners, work them with that, and they just keep getting better in their bit.